Have you ever found yourself stuck trying to figure out how to run code after a user signs in with OpenID Connect? It can be a bit tricky, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into how to run code after authentication in an ASP.NET Core MVC app. I totally understand your frustration. You want to run some code after a user signs in, but you don't want to hard code a redirect URL. It's a common challenge many developers face when working with authentication flows. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, how can I run code after a user authenticates with OpenID Connect without hard coding a redirect URL? They mentioned wanting to check if it's the user's first sign-in and set a flag. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what could be the best approach? The challenge here is to run your code without affecting the user experience. Using middleware can be problematic since it runs for every request. We'll break down a more efficient solution. And stick around. I've got a great tip at the end that will help you streamline your authentication process even further. To begin solving this issue, the user should implement an event handler for the OpenID Connect authentication events. This allows them to run custom code after a successful sign-in. Next, the user can check if this is the user's first sign-in. They can do this by accessing the user claims and setting a flag accordingly. After determining if it's the user's first sign-in, the user should redirect them back to their original destination. This can be achieved by using the return URL stored in the authentication properties. Finally, the user should ensure that their application is configured to handle these events properly. This includes setting up the OpenID Connect middleware in the startup configuration. Fun fact, did you know that OpenID Connect is built on top of OAuth 2.0? It's like the superhero of authentication protocols, making our lives a lot easier. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggests implementing a custom class that inherits from authorize attribute. This allows you to perform actions after sign-in, such as checking if it's the user's first login and applying roles. For instance, you can check if the user has accepted the terms and conditions. If not, redirect them to a lower role protected MVC controller. Once accepted, assign a role like tan-c consent for future validations. For more details, you can refer to a GitHub example that demonstrates how to implement the authorize attribute and the authorize permission decorator. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative approach shared by another user involves using Identity Server 3. They suggest implementing the iUser service interface, specifically the post-authenticate async method. This method is called after successful authentication, allowing you to run custom workflows before redirecting the user. The post-authenticate async method provides a context parameter that includes the authenticate result property. You can set this property to customize the authentication outcome and define the redirect path, which must start with a slash. Here's the tip I promised. Always keep your authentication logic modular. This not only helps with maintenance, but also makes it easier to add new features in the future. And there you have it. You now know how to run code after a user signs in with OpenID Connect without hard coding redirect URLs. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we dive deeper into authentication best practices.